We're talking today about real-life heroes, people who step outside of themselves to help someone else. Please welcome Pat and her son Sean to the show. Pat, hey, both of you, tell me a little bit about your daughter, Kim, your sister. You tell us.
Well, she was a very kind person. She was real sweet. She was artistic.
Generous, warm.
She liked
caring.
animals. She was a good equestrian.
She had dreams and aspirations that she shared with me, and I likewise had ones that I shared with her. So we had a very tight bond.
Mm-hmm. And you were with her that last weekend.
Yeah, I still remember the last time I saw her, and
What was that? Explain that to us.
I don't know, I can't explain the feeling, but she lived out on a boat, and she was walking down the gangway, and I started to cry. And I just asked God to take care of her.
Before you left, you had a feeling. Something went through your mind, because you told her, I want you to come with us to Mississippi, and a little bit more vehemently than you would have normally asked that question, right?
Yes.
And she said no.
She said she'd prefer to stay there. And I told my husband, I said, well, if Kim follows a pattern, then in about 6 weeks it'll give her time to make up her mind, and she'll voluntarily want to come down to stay with us. So her birthday was September the 8th. And, sorry.
That's okay. And what happened that weekend?
Monday morning, I was up at 5 o'clock. I worked in construction. I was getting ready to go to work, and I got a call from a county hospital in the county across the bay. And they asked if
the following Monday.
Yeah, the following Monday. And they asked if I was who I was, and I said yes. And they said, are you kin to Kimberly Christman? And I said, yes, she's my sister. And they said, she is right now in intensive care in coma.
So you did make it to the hospital?
Yeah.
You stayed there with her and...
Yeah, talked for hours. Just hours with this person that's on a respirator that was just, seemed so lifeless. I mean, the only life you could feel was that her hands were warm. We went back the next day. Basically, someone came up to us and said, it's time to pull the plug. There's no hope.
And before they told you that, though, they also said that, would you consider donating any of her organs?
Yeah.
That had to be a tough decision for your family, right?
It was. But in light of the way that Kimberly lived her life, always giving, always making sure that you were okay before she was, we thought her death should honor the way that she lived her life in that caring and giving spirit. So.
And they asked you specifically for a particular organ, right?
They said that they would take all they could get. And
Kim was in very good health.
She was
very good.
She
physical
donated
health.
lungs, liver, kidneys, heart, eyes.
Did you ever know where any of those organs went?
No.
Just one.
Just one. Which one was that?
The heart.
The heart.
The heart. And that's because you heard from the recipient of his heart.
Yes.
Right? Have you ever met this person?
No.
I mean,
her whole family wrote us letters. The mom did, the lady who received the heart, her husband, her granddaughter, and her daughter. They all wrote us just wonderful letters about how it had saved their mom and what it meant to them.
Well, she wants to tell you that face to face. Please welcome Glenda and her daughter, Deanna, to the show. When that call came, there was a lot of happiness, but there was also what? Explain to Pat and Sean this, because this is something I think they need to know.
I'm sorry, let me just jump in real quick here. Thank you. We were at home, and Mom called us from the car, said we're on our way to Stanford. They found a heart, and here we are as a family, and we're very excited. Mom gets to live, and Mom's gonna, this is probably everything's gonna be okay, because she was very close to death, and we all sat down as a family, as kids, and we're sitting here saying we feel such great happiness that we can't even explain it, and yet right now at this exact same moment there's a family who's going through such grief. It's both sides of that.
It's bittersweet, because we we were excited for me and for my family. But at the same time, we knew somebody is dying, and in a few hours I will have their heart. And that's bittersweet because
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have to take a little break. When I come back, you have something that you wanted to give to Pat and Sean.
bet.
And we're doing a show, and I shouldn't even say this because my competition will steal it, but very, very interesting thought. I'm going to have you think about this during the break. Let me take a break. I won't even say it on there. Take a break, and we'll be back right after this.
For somehow through the grief and pain, she has shared her love again, as her family saw her taken from their lives. It must have hurt to watch her go, because of how they loved her so. But they caused a miracle we can't describe.
To give to Pat and Sean, what is
Yes,
that?
I do. I have a medal that, Pat, I'll give it to you. Sean, it's for you also. And it's on behalf of me and my family and the donor organization, and it's in appreciation for what you've given me. I could never express in any way what you've done for me. I'm alive, and I have a family. I feel for you because you lost yours, but I cannot express adequately how much I appreciate what you have given to me through the donor organization.
And that's that gift of life. During the break, one of the questions that I asked was, and this is something that some doctors and psychologists are now talking about, it just seems that in the last 20 years now that we're finding out more and more about donors, we're finding out that some people, about 60 to 70% of those people, seem to experience things a year, 2 years after they've gotten their donation that are characteristics of the person that they received the donation from. So I say that to you only because, let's say it's next year, I hope that you will stay in contact, because you may be sitting down and look at a movie and you say to yourself, you know, I hated that movie, but I love that movie today. And then call up Pat and say, you know, can I ask this question? Did Kim love that movie? Because it may be just a little piece of her that's still there. And there's always a piece of her as long as
That's
it's
right.
here.
From the little bit, just from the small amount that we had found out about Glenda and the letters from her family, I can't think of anyone who would be a better recipient.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.